Muskaan to be in my show. It's
Hi,
called
Manish.
Mindfulness.
So mindfulness is Manish meets mindfulness is Muskaan.
Yeah, you are my coach.
You know what kind of value you're providing at the community. Okay, then they understand, okay, yoga सिर्फ आसन नहीं है, मुझे तो मर जाना चाहिए फिर. Bodies are so beautiful and capable of so many things. So do it for that purpose.
Thank you so much, Muskaan, to be in my show. It's
Hi,
called
Manish.
Mindfulness.
So mindfulness is Manish meets mindfulness is Muskaan.
Yeah, exactly. So Mindfulness with Manish meets Mindfulness with Muskaan.
Exactly.
The name came from actually you. That's why
Yes.
I was so curious, so eager to take your podcast because I want to tell the audience like where the name is coming from.
Yeah.
You know what? When I started this podcast, it started with like little bit about like being connecting to people, being humble, also connecting from different backgrounds, going into deep down into their life, how to deal with stress and depression. So I was like, what is the right name for this, right? So I thought about chit chat, I thought about charcha, bhakchodi, something like that. But I was like, then I was taking your classes,
Yeah.
Mindfulness with Muskaan, MWM.
Yeah.
That's why the name of the t-shirt.
Yeah, I love the t-shirt.
I was like, the mindfulness is actually relating. It's quite big actually.
Yes.
But I was like, it's fine. We'll deal with that. Let's start with some name. Let's
Yes.
get started. So
Yeah.
that's where the name came from. And thank you so much to give me that name. Actually, I got the idea. But the goal for today's podcast is to talk about everything about yoga because you are a yoga instructor. We go into drill down into your yoga journey. But before we do that, can you tell me a little bit about your background, where you're coming from, how you started the yoga and stuff like that?
Alright, so my name is already established. My organization's name, my community's name is already established. It's Mindfulness with Muskaan. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Rajasthan, and I'd always been a very active kid, a kid who wanted to do it all, and I would believe I'm still the same person today. I was good at studies, so I loved doing studies, and then I was also always active in the co-curriculars. So that's how my journey began. And after my school, I came to the city for my master's and for my graduation. I don't have a master's in fact. So yeah, after my college I started working in a corporate job, and thereafter I realized that this is not my cup of tea.
What kind of corporate job? If you
I was a financial analyst, to be precise.
see. Okay.
Yes. So I got placed from a college, and then when I started working, I was always connected to yoga. If I give about the background, I'll maybe come to later on. But then throughout my job only, I started taking online classes, and then it started as a hobby. I was just trying to share what I know, and I didn't have to look back. And then it's been 3 years. On 14th of June, I think, yes,
Wow.
just 8 days back, we completed 3 years of MWM.
So then you started this big. Now it's a big company now.
Yeah, company, community, yes, whatever.
Community,
yes.
whatever you can say.
Yeah.
So now, how many people are associated with your group?
We have, I actually don't have a right number, honestly. I think we should do the math, me and my team. But then we have almost like taught 6 to 7,000 people. Because I'm a nutritionist as well, we deal with people for nutrition and yoga. At least 6 to 7,000 we must have come across or touched lives in the span of 3 years.
Wow. And you have how many teachers with you?
Currently, I have 2 more teachers working with me, but majorly I am the head teacher. I like to take all my classes. If I'm not showing up in the classes, my students start pinging me, Muskaan, where are you? We want classes from you. But anyways, it's a big team now, not just about the teachers. We have community leaders as well. We have people taking care of, other background operational things. So we're a huge team now, and, just touch wood.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of questions I have. So let's talk about the operational part of yoga because I'm a yoga teacher myself. I have a group
Yoga
called
with chai.
Yoga and Chai.
Yoga and chai.
So how it started is like I learned yoga here in Delhi. My mom is a yoga teacher.
Nice.
And like there's an institute in Delhi. It's called Morarji Desai.
Yes.
So I learned basic yoga, and I thought like whatever they're teaching, I can teach in the US because I live in the US. I started doing that to my friends, and they liked it. They were like, okay, you can put that in the meetup. There's a meetup app.
Yes.
And that's where I build the community. Slowly 3, 5, 7 now around 50 people come in my class. I just teach once a week because that is not my full-time profession.
Yes.
It's like for my hobby. Just Saturday 9 to 10 a.m.
How many years has that been for you?
It's been 1.5 years.
Nice.
And now it has established a name. Everyone knows about Yoga and Chai. So what happens is it's a yoga and then we have chai, and then we form a circle, and then we talk a lot.
So foreigners, they like the concept of chai.
Yeah, foreigners love chai. They like the Indian culture.
The Indian
and
chai.
Yeah, Indian chai. They love. Some people travel from far to because people are dealing with so much. They need people to talk to.
Yeah.
People are so depressed, stressed in their life, whatever happening in their life.
Yeah.
So that's why people connect with us. And I started this with my friend. Her name is Asha also. We both, because that chai concept came in because I was teaching yoga, and then we were talking, and she was like, oh, I wanted to have chai. There were 5 people. You want to go to my home and have chai? So they were like, yeah, why not have chai? That's where people start doing it. And it's like not a paid studio. It's like in-person classes, and the apartment has a studio in itself. So we don't pay for the studio itself, because operation part is very expensive. The problem I'm facing right now is expansion, because you have to you have to partner with different teachers. How you trust them, right?
Yes.
Also, to be honest, I'm not that flexible. I am mostly into gym and all. The reason why I started yoga is because of flexibility, to gain more flexibility. If I have more teachers in my schedule, then I have a fear that students might go to them.
Yeah.
So that is the question I wanted to ask you. How you make sure you are your students are going after you. They're not going after your new, because your teachers can also start their own brand, right?
Yes. Okay, so I also had this fear, honestly, that someone working in with my team, if they can become another MWM, and my other teachers, what if my current students would feel like, okay, they can separately go to the other teachers and then start it, but then at the end of the day, you know you better, and they just maybe taking one-on-one sessions with our teacher. That's all they were going to get. But then what we are doing at MWM, because since you've been a part of the community, that's more than just yoga online classes. We are trying to work upon the lifestyle of a student. It's more of a community-like feeling rather than just connection with one-on-one classes. So I am pretty confident the kind of value that we are providing to the community, and I think so should you. You should also have faith in what you are doing different with yoga and chai, the kind of value. And maybe if you haven't found that rock solid foundation, like since the time I started taking my classes, there was always an MWM program. After the classes, I would give a task to the students. I would follow up with the students. Okay, this is to be done. You need to drink 3 liters of water, then you have to. And then students would post the pictures. So we are trying to add this value.
Engage with the student. That's what I saw, because I've taken a lot of online classes.
Yeah.
One of the things which differentiates your class with other classes is like you get task.
Yes.
Like for example, drink 3 liters of water.
Yes.
Also, like the yoga student of the day or week, whatever.
Yes.
Right? And you have to post asana, whatever you're doing. Like also do some activity.
Yeah.
Take class, like at least 5 classes a week, something like that.
Yes.
That's how you engage, and you have a team, right? To take care of
that. Exactly. So I think you should have that faith in yourselves as well. What is the USP? Find your USP and just work upon it.
How did you find those teachers actually who are teaching with you?
Okay, so one has been my student only. She then went for her RYT as a teacher.
So they all certified.
Yeah, they are all certified.
So you make sure the teachers are coming to you.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't believe in just degrees, because it's very easy for even my mother to go for a 2 weeks course and get a degree. But I would know she doesn't know, shit. If she would want to
you should
teach.
know it.
Yeah.
Things.
When I started teaching, I had 8 years or 9 years of experience of self-practice. And then I went for my certification. And it was, of course, I learned so much in my certification. I'm still learning every single day. But then it's the experience that matters. So for me, degree, yes, it's not that important. But yeah, just for, it has to be. Then people today are certified. So that's not an issue. So one of the teachers I got, because she was my student only, she still is my student, she still comes to the classes. And then another teacher, again, she was a reference from my student who was also a teacher. So that's how I built.
Got it.
You have to just trust and vibe with certain people.
Got it. Nice. So this yoga, the mindfulness with the Muskaan that you have started, you mentioned around 6,000, 7,000 students you have impacted. It's only offline, or it's all like in person also?
No,
As in also
it's
online?
only online. We have students around. I'm not counted the countries. Like you don't remember the countries that you have traveled to. So we because we are giving six timings. We're offering six timings plus you get recorded sessions. So we have students around at least 10-15 countries practicing with us, and people around the globe and can come to the class as per their own convenience. And we only operate online, and that's how I would like to keep it too.
Got it.
Yeah, it's open to everybody. And when you so when I left my job, or when I was working my job, the major suffocation that I used to have was, I don't want to live from weekend to weekend. I want to have freedom, that if on Monday I want to not sit in Delhi and I want to go to, say, Dehradun or say Rishikesh,
Travel.
I should have that freedom to travel and
That's
not
why.
be confined to an office space. So same thing, I don't want to confine myself that I have to be available in the city to take offline classes for my students. I also have teachers who teach me, and they're also online, and it works
Oh,
beautifully.
you
for
learn
me.
yourself also?
Yeah, because if I am operating at level 6 today and I want to go at level 10, then someone should me also to be, mentoring me and coaching me.
Right.
So I believe every coach should also have a coach. That's very
Nice.
important. If you don't have a coach, you should also have a coach. If you want to level up yourself.
Yeah, you are my coach.
But you're not a regular
I'm
student, I
not.
would
Yeah,
say.
I'm not coming.
So yeah, that's what. So I would like to always keep it online. Yeah.
Nice. So, what are the challenges you face in terms of starting this company, Mindfulness, starting with your initial days and now it's established? What were the initial challenges?
Honestly, if I look back, I can do it all over again. It was my passion and still is my passion. I mean, I wanted to get into this profession also because I wanted a beautiful work-life balance for me. But today, if I see myself, I'm working more than maybe I was working, during my corporate jobs, or some days I'm taking it as per my whim. But the major challenge is, how you build your trust among students. Because there's been, Manish, it's been 3 years, and there's this one student who was there in my first class, and she still is part of the community.
Wow.
So the major challenge is how you build that trust in the students. If you've seen, I have a separate rapport with all my students. 6,000 people, give or take, I would know the faces of, almost 5,000 people, or, more than that. So you need to build that rapport with the student. That's very important, because why would you want to again, come back to the community, or you should seek some benefit, right? So I think that's the major challenge, and that's what I believe in. I don't take it as a challenge. I love connecting with people. I love helping them out, hearing them out. So I think that is the key thing. If one can
The
work
stickiness,
upon
the trust factor.
that. Yeah, the trust factor. How you engage
the
with
student
students.
keeps on coming again and again.
Yes,
again.
yes, that is the
that
major.
thing.
If we talk just about the business part, the rest everything, I think, there are many talented teachers out there, but how you build that engagement is very important, and that will define the success of your community.
And also, yoga is not just about asana. It's also
Definitely
about a lot of things about
Yes,
theory.
yes.
Also pranayama.
Yes.
And yoga is also about like going deeper into meditation.
Yeah.
It's more deeper topic. Do you also engage your classes are into that topic also, or just asana?
Yoga is very wide. It dictates everything about how a person should live their life. Okay, right from the ethics and rules. We have yamas and niyamas. Yamas states that one should be always truthful. We should not speak lie. We should not steal, non-violence, and so on. So these are the ethics. Then there are some rules that one should follow. So we try to incorporate these things somewhere or the other in our offline tasks that we're talking about as a part of the mindfulness program. Then asanas are covered in the classes. Pranayama we also like to cover at times in the classes. Even meditation part at times we have in the classes. Otherwise we offer tasks to students so that they incorporate these things. So, and then it becomes much deeper for a student to incorporate many other different things. So I would like to say that because it's so wide, rather than confusing people, start with the basics. It's easier for a student to start with physical exercise first, physical asanas. Once they start getting more interested, if they want to read more about yoga, then they understand, okay, yoga sirf asan nahi hai ya shapes nahi hai ki body se, crazy shapes banana hai. Then they understand, okay, it's also looking inwards. Then they get deeper into pranayama, meditation, following yogic life. I would say मैं भी अभी 50% भी शायद वहाँ नहीं हूँ, you know, following all the yamas and niyamas or going that deep in the practice. So that's what.
Nama and niyamas are very important, but
Yes.
that is very difficult to follow. If you read a lot about them, right? What are
Yes,
some of the
exactly.
things like greediness and materialism? Those
Materialism,
are things,
yes, of
yeah,
course.
Shopping and all those things,
Yes.
right? Like
that's why I said
being
I am
content.
not that 50% even there.
Yeah, I know. That's a lot. It's
Yes.
more deeper. And if we become that, then basically it's a
Sannyas
path
really
towards
actually.
sannyas,
Yeah.
or moksha,
Yeah.
right? There's different paths towards sannyas or moksha, right? One is this Ashtanga yoga,
Yes.
which I think we are talking about,
Yes.
Nama, Niyama, Asana.
Yes.
There's another path, Bhakti yoga, and then you have
Yes.
Kriya yoga, and
Yes.
everyone does it differently,
Yes.
whatever works for them.
Yes.
Like my mom is more into Bhakti yoga.
Yeah.
I do mostly, I like Sadhguru's programs. It's
Yes.
mostly Kriya yoga.
Yes.
Do more Kriyas, and Sadhguru's programs are mostly into like meditation and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I think in order to reach meditation, you should be better with flexibility, because if you're not like able to sit at one position, if you keep on moving, then basically you are not able to concentrate and
I would
go
say
more.
focus बहुत ज़रूरी है. अगर आपको meditation में बैठना है 5 मिनट भी, तो rather than flexibility, also you need that focus and calmness, and that is very difficult. I would say asana practice, learning a chakrasana or a headstand or any difficult asana is so much easier than, you know, sitting in meditation. That's why I say if anybody wants to get into yoga, start with physical asanas first, get into pranayama, and then once they are able to do that at least for the next 3 or 4 months, then start, you know, slowly with meditation. Because I like to believe meditation में कुछ करना नहीं है, बैठना आपको.
बैठना.
You have to look inwards. That's the most
Or
challenging part.
yeah, that is most difficult,
Yes.
because the thoughts keeps on coming, and
Yes.
then you have to bring your thoughts back.
Exactly.
There's different kinds of meditation.
Yeah.
I just know like breathing. There's like sound meditation. Have you practiced meditation?
Yes.
What kind of meditation? Can you explain a little bit about that?
I like to focus on my breathing when I do. If I talk about my self practice, I like to focus on my breathing. There's meditation about gratitude meditation that I would love to do. You know.
What is that about? Gratitude meditation.
So, have you taken any guided meditation?
Yeah.
So
Somebody
guided
is
meditation
teaching.
has a script that goes in
Yeah.
the background, and then you're looking inwards and you're thinking about those things. You know, suppose someone is asking you, instructing you to take deep breaths, think about the good thing in your life. So I also do guided meditation in my class whenever we do meditation. So when I say I do gratitude meditation, then the guided script goes into my head. I'm thinking about the things, all the best things in my life. So I will start from maybe my work, gratitude towards work, towards separate relationships, towards my own health, towards my friends. So, you know, that's how. So different topics I like to work upon.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense. Also, what I feel is like people these days are more focusing on difficult asana. Sometimes they break their body or back, whatever. Do you think that is a right way? Like if somebody has to start with the asana, where should they be starting? Like for me also, I started this yoga, like yoga company, whatever. But it takes time to get flexible, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in 1 month or maybe 1 year. It takes time and time.
It depends upon person to person. Yeah.
And is that the right way to achieve the next state of the Ashtanga yoga, which is meditation, or you think that is not required?
See, that can go hand in hand as well. You can start with day one also with asanas and meditation all together. But you should be interested into it, not that you're forcing yourself into it. जैसे आपका interest बनता है वैसे start कर सकते हैं. And the question was, is it good to push yourselves into, you know, higher difficult asanas? I would say absolutely not. See, if you're coming from a place that okay, I want to do this asana because it looks very cool, I want to post it on Instagram. I mean, you're failing at the very basic, you know, yamas, that, you know, greediness and वो self contentment, संतोष ही नहीं है आपके अंदर. तो आप you're failing the basic nature of those things only. When I think about myself, I've been practicing yoga since the age of 14. It's been at least 11 years of experience. I have done handstand since the first year, okay. But I till today cannot hold a handstand without wall very sturdily. मुझे तो मर जाना चाहिए फिर. मैं योगा टीचर हूँ, 11 साल हो गए हैं, मुझसे नहीं होता. I would like to believe at least I could be many things, but I'm content with my practice.
वो जो है, whatever you have, you are satisfied. You're happy.
I practice for more. I practice. I want more, but I'm still very content. I am not that, you know, मुझे एक महीने में achieve करना है. I used to be like that. You know, initial days of my teacher, because when you are initially into a new profession, you self-doubt yourself. You know, you have an imposter syndrome. कि मैं enough कर रही हूँ कि नहीं कर रही. You see so many teachers out there on Instagram, they can do crazy asanas and you feel like मुझसे तो ये भी नहीं होता. You know, you can go into that comparison spiral.
Same thing happened with me last year. Like, why I'm a teacher? You know, I can't do any like big asana. Like people get impressed if you show them.
Yes.
But I was like, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a good motivator. I inspire people. I organize this thing. That's enough. Whatever you do, that's fine.
Exactly.
Content, whatever.
Content. संतोष बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो I feel as a practitioner मुझे बहुत संतोष है. As a teacher मुझे बहुत संतोष है. और of course I want to learn new things. I have a coach who helps me train. But ऐसा नहीं है that I'm breaking my body. I want to. I'm doing it because I want to learn more about myself. When I do my advanced practices, I get to know our bodies are so beautiful and capable of so many things. So do it for that purpose, that you really want to challenge yourself in a good way, healthy way, and not out of I have to get that asana. Ego, ahankar.
Ego and yoga doesn't go back.
I have seen students in my class, with that ego practicing that aaj to asana karna hi hai, and मुझे पता होता है कुछ होने वाला है, but that's there. I've seen people with that, but then eventually you learn. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. So how do you make your classes interesting? That is one problem I'm facing. So every Saturday I have a class, and every Saturday I do let's start with normal mantra, and then we start with normal stretching, and then Surya Namaskar, or we do Vinyasa flow or something, and then at the end we have Pranayama or Shavasana, whatever. I've seen you have different flavors of your class.
Yes.
Where do you learn them?
I think that is also a USP, another USP.
That's why I joined, to learn that.
See, I'll tell you, because I told you I had 8 years of experience of self-practice before I started teaching. So as a practitioner, and I know the psyche of a practitioner, as a student, आप क्या सोच रहे हो? आपको रोज same चीज करने से, of course, if you practice the same thing again and again, you will advance, you will master that, of course. But इंसान, human nature, they want something new. तो वो एक कला है that you're making the student practice more or less the same things, but how you present them. Because I have been a student myself, I have been a practitioner myself, and I have that hunger and zeal कि मुझे कुछ नया practice करना है. So I know the psyche of a student. I create my classes in that ways. My student has to feel if they're coming onto the mat, आज कुछ नया हो रहा है, but मुझे as a teacher पता होता है मैंने same चीज करवा रही हूँ. In the sense that, because see, there are 5-6 categories. I will divide the practice into. One day you have to do back bends. Someday you have to do your arm balances. Someday you have to do your hip openers.
It's the same thing, but different flavor.
But how you can mold the class into a way that the student feels, okay, it's a new class for me, but I also am filling the role of a teacher कि उनको वो same चीज practice करवा रही हूँ. If a student is not able to do level 1, मैं उनको level 2 नहीं करवा सकती. करवाना भी तो I can just give it demo of level 2 and.
What is level 1, level 2 in yoga?
I'm
just you are making an example.
Yeah, making an example. So it's an art. I would like to believe in. I think I get that because I myself don't like to practice same thing over and over. Especially when it comes to yoga. For my other trainings, yes, when you're doing gymming, of course you have to stick to the foundation exercises. But with yoga, you can do many things. You can mix it up, and that's.
I saw your HIIT yoga, which I also implemented. People like it.
Yeah.
You have back bending.
I think that was your first class with me.
Yeah, I like it. That's why I was like, there's few flavors which I copied from you.
Yeah, that's fine. Even I like to copy from the teachers that I'm learning from. That's
I learned my TTC. I did my TTC from Mumbai. It's called the Yoga Institute.
Yeah.
Saji teaches there.
It's a famous
one.
one.
I asked them this question: how to make your students stick to your class? Because yoga is, people say it's a boring.
Yeah.
A lot of Western people, they don't go to yoga because you need to still your mind.
Yes.
They go after like CrossFit or gym or something which is like high musical stuff like that.
Yes.
People are still not into yoga because they consider it boring. But your class is different. That's what I feel like is quite different than other classes. You make it interesting, which is good. Another thing is what are other reasons you think people love about your classes? Apart from.
I think I would feel like a chauvinist person if I would just keep praising my classes. But I think first has to be the creative sequences that I design for my students and making sure that the class is not boring for them. Every time they come onto the mat, I promise them a new experience, first thing. Second thing, of course, the community, like feeling the mindfulness program that we give, motivate them. Every month we work upon something new. Like this month we're working upon mastering your time. Time is of so much value if you know how to really plan your time. I think you're halfway there. You are on the path to your success, whatever you want to achieve. So we're working upon those things. And then I think another thing is that how habit building works is by reward. you need to reward the person who's actually been consistent at things, you know. Like बच्चे बचपन में, you know, if the parent says कि अगर आप ये करते रहेंगे तो आपको ये चीज मिलेगी,
chocolate मिलेगी,
whatsoever, right?
So you have this.
So I believe in rewarding my students. So we have weekly winners, monthly winners. We send them rewards, which is going to help them. So that is another part that we're doing different. And then I think we constantly keep looking for problems and try to solve them. Another problem, the major problem, is that staying consistent in the classes, which I believe my students also is facing. So we have implemented a house system. Now we have a house, like we used to have houses in schools, right? Green house, blue house. So we have house in our community now, and we have house captains as well. So a house captain will have 20 students among them. We are not fully started it with 100% of the things, but we are 70% there. So we have 3 houses as of now, and the house captains make sure that their students are coming to the class. They're sending the pictures, ki ma'am, you know, class is done. We're getting them points, and then after 1 month we have like a house, you know, we can have rewarding the house.
So the house captain is your teachers or their students
house
also?
Captain is the student
only.
Yeah, a student who has been like very actively part of the
So
community.
you assign them as a leader, and the duty of that leader is to make sure the students are there.
Exactly. So identifying the problem and working upon it to the very basics is what I believe is our
USP.
USP.
I think you can do this because you're doing this full time, right? You have a lot of time and space to like implement, which is really good. For me, it's very hard because, you know, there's tons of things going in my head. Then that is what yoga is teaching me, like do one thing and do it proper. Do it, give you 100%. Like this podcast which I started, we have like the yoga and chai. I have my full-time job which I'm going to start next month. So, but it's fine. Other thing is like, which I want to talk about is the impact of social media on the current generation. We talk about some of the problems that people are facing in terms of social media, in terms of the screen and stuff like that. What do you feel, and how to stay away from it?
I feel like I have a very good example of using it the right way. Okay, social media. So when I started teaching, it was because of social media. Like I told you, I was a practitioner. I had an Instagram account. You know, I used to just randomly post my practice asanas on social media, and I was getting a great response. You know, we would love to teach from you, love to learn from you, and so on. And then I felt like, okay, maybe if it's helping me so much, I was going through a very bad phase before that. You know, my practice has helped me so much. As a kid, it helped me, you know, lose weight. You know, I just posted a reel, 3 ways how yoga changed my life. One, when I was actually, that's how I got into yoga. I was a fat kid. I was like 60 kgs above, and then I got into yoga, and 6 months down the line, I was, you know, physically fit that way. And then years after, as a young adult, when I was going through, you know, mental health issues, it helped me again, you know, compose myself. And then when I started my profession, I'm so sorry, I forgot the question. What was?
The social media impact.
Yes. So I was coming to it. When I was sharing my practice on social media, I used to get very good response, and then it's like, मुझे इतना help मिला है with my weight loss, with my mental health.
From social media.
Through yoga.
Through yoga.
मुझे इतना ज़्यादा help मिला है. And people are giving a good response to my post. Let me just try. So my first month when I started the classes, it was a free class, sort of a free class, like a donation-based class. You pay what you can, what you feel is the value, and that's how I started, and I got a great response. So social media, I use it in the right way. And today, I'm full-time. I'm earning more than, you know, at least 6 times what I was getting during my corporate job, or even more than that. Touch wood, you know, by God's grace. I have a team with me, full-time people working with me. I've connected with so many people during that, and it's all because of social media, right? I found a new career. I was able to make myself, and then all these people who are connecting through me is also because of social media. And we ran a yoga awareness week. Yesterday was International Yoga Day, right?
Right.
So in my community, I launched this campaign that you और किसी दिन करो ना करी, इस एक हफ्ते हम लोग हमारी प्रैक्टिस के बाद सोशल मीडिया पे हमारा स्टोरी डालेंगे as a part of making people aware, because I feel you are a sum total of, you know, few people around you. Your personality will be a sum total of what you are around few people. So if you are able to post your stories, people around you somewhere or the other will get inspired.
They get inspired.
Somewhere or the other they will get inspired. You know, मुझे भी करना है yoga.
So you are a good example of using social media.
I am coming to that. The bad also. So these are the good ways. Okay. But there has been time wherein you keep scrolling the reels and reels, and
wasting
you know,
time.
I remember when Alia Bhatt got married, I was so depressed for 1 week because I kept watching the stories and reels so much because of the way I felt like, oh my god, she has achieved everything in her life at such a young age, and what am I doing with my life? I went into such a bad phase, I remember, and that's how I realized the pattern. See, when you see social media, you tend to compare. Like as a teacher, initially tend to compare my teaching with the other teachers, and I still feel like I'm not good enough. So when you see people, and it's a showcase, because I would like to believe I'm a social person now. Many of the things can be just for the sake of camera. So because I know it impacts me, I don't watch reels. People around me know that Muskaan reels nahi dekhti hai. I only watch cat reels. I have a private account. I only watch cat reels over there. Otherwise, I do not watch any sort of reels at all. Yeah, I know it impacts my mental health.
How you do that?
How I do? मैं देखती नहीं हूँ.
Okay.
Like, I will not watch it.
If you have free time, you don't watch it.
No, not at all. Like I told you, I like watching kitten reels. I love cats. So I found them very cute. I just watched their reels, and because of the algorithm, the more kind of things that you like to watch, and आपको पता है वो आपके mental health को impact नहीं करता है. But if I start seeing other teachers, yoga teachers, मुझे impact करता है. I like it affects me that their pose is so aligned, their body looks so fit, their skin is so clear. Why am I not making such content?
Right.
Even that I get into that spiral zone. तो मुझे पता है that comes from awareness. That also comes from your practice.
So क्या अलग लगता है when you see those reels कि you should be doing that?
Yeah, why am I not making content? मैं bed पे बैठ के क्यों scroll कर रही हूँ when I can also go and make content? Why I'm not doing good enough?
That's a good thing actually, because I have a travel account also.
Yes.
Travel with Monty. I have around 16,000 followers in that. The thing is, I've traveled in so many countries, and every day is unique in itself. I can create stories, but I don't have time to create, right? And when I watch travel videos, people make such an awesome video that gives me a little depression.
Yes.
See, I can make this one, right? Then I stop watching.
I know. So even I don't do that, and you just have to be aware. काम करते चलो, see, है ना? And if you know that this is going to impact you, stay away from negativity.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But people, other thing is, people what they do is that they have the screen time. They look at the screen time. That is another thing which I do. Like normally my screen time is around 4 to 5 hours every day. Then I try to reduce it, like maybe 5-10 minutes every day. Have a consistent, not increase, and then have a limit on Instagram.
Yeah.
Watching, that is another thing you can do.
Yeah.
People have different things.
We do this task in the community on a very often basis. We've been doing it, like I told you, this month we've been doing time management. So इसमें बहुत major part है social media का आपका time कितना ज़्यादा है. It should be very limited. So screen time, we do that management.
Time management is another topic. Social media is one part. People also have other issues with time management, about their work time management.
They say that we don't have time to come for yoga classes. I say it's
मेरे साथ भी वही problem. I don't go to yoga.
Excuses. Because I tell you now, I am also a practitioner myself. So I also go through the same issues कि मन नहीं कर रहा है. I show you the chat right now with my coaches. Half the times I am also making excuses that today is this, today it's that.
That is a human nature. Nature. It's always a fight with the mind and the body.
Exactly.
Your body wants to go, but your mind is like 5 minutes.
But I end up going at least 4 sessions in a week, and that is what the target that I've given to myself. 4 to 5 sessions in a week with yoga and calisthenics, because I do a mix of training. So I know how human nature works. Time सबके पास है. You
just have to prioritize
the things.
Which is important.
People say that I have exam. I will practice yoga after a month. Are you telling me that you're studying for the continuous 24 hours and you're not taking any break? Yeah. Nobody does that, right? So it's just prioritizing things.
So one thing you mentioned is prioritizing thing is time management. What other things people should follow in order to do time management?
Nutrition, good nutrition. In time management?
Yeah, in time management.
Okay. So I think time for yourself, for the basic things. I think this is something that I struggle with. So all the time is for my training, my time is for my students, my time is for my team. But I sometimes, very often, fail to take a time for myself. For doing the basic things like managing your wardrobe. As of today, my wardrobe is a mess. And today, because it's the weekend, I have taken on my weekend कि मैं यही करूँगी घर पे. I will manage my things, that if I want to do some skincare, or if I want to manage my wardrobe, basic things, cleaning your stuff also. If you're not taking care of your surroundings, that is also a very important thing, that managing something you do
small things, kitchen, your wardrobe.
Yes, exactly. If you see that, okay, I am drinking less water. I've been drinking less water. So what do you want to do about it? So taking out time to better yourself as well. You know, the things that are very basic. लोग पानी पीना भूल जाते, time ही नहीं मिला.
Right.
Okay, do something about it. Buy a bottle that can be towards your bedside. So taking time at least half an hour a day, or you know, a few minutes a day to think, okay, what better I can do, what things I can do to better my self-care, you know, stuff like that.
Sometimes yoga teachers or yoga teachers are healers actually.
Yeah.
They have to heal themselves also.
Yeah.
They have to give time, as you said, me time, right?
Yeah.
They have to spend me time to themselves, train themselves, whatever. How you do that in your practice?
Sorry, come again.
Like they have to like upgrade themselves. They have to keep on learning themselves.
Yeah.
They have to like they are the healers, but they have to heal themselves also.
Yeah.
How you do that in your practice?
So I believe, because it's been 3 years, I've understood many things that we've been teaching. So if I talk about the physical practice, like I told you, physical practice is one aspect.
Coaches.
I have coaches. I train with them. They make sure that, you know, I'm leveling up. That's one thing. Initially, when I started my journey, I didn't have much knowledge about good food, nutrition. So I made sure that I study and equip myself with that knowledge. So I did my certification. Like I told you, certification is just in a degree. I made sure I did many certifications. I still keep learning about, you know, food, how food impacts us. So another thing I wanted to equip myself, because the next day if a student comes to me that, Muskaan, I am facing such issues, you know, how can you help me with the food? I should know, because, you know, I'm a teacher and these health and wellness is my, you know, thing. I am constantly, you know, enrolling myself into another more certifications. I have a certification for exercise science, which are proper. The kind of science we do, the kind of exercise we do in gym. So I have a certification going for that as well, because I'm learning. Because in my classes, like I tell you, we do mix of strength training as well. So at times you need to know in depth about anatomy and things. So constantly educating yourself is something that I do, one thing. And then I think over the years I've learned for myself that, you know, how when I feel stressed, what is it that works for me? Writing down stuff works for me. So journaling is a very important part of our community as well. That's how I like to preach things.
Writing down what?
Just so if I'm stressed, for say example, I am very confused, I'm feeling emotional, I will take out my journal without any pre-agenda कि मुझे क्या लिखना है. Just start writing. It's a very good therapy, you know. It's a very good therapy, and you don't have to stop until you have written 3 papers. I don't care क्या लिखा है उसमें, पर जो आपके माइंड में कोई चीज फंसी हुई है वो सच में पेपर पे आएगी. इसको we do it the, I forget the word. It's क्या बोलते हैं इस चीज को, but yeah, it's a thing
it's
that
part of, like I read about stress and depression.
I read it in a book called The Artist Way.
Okay.
So every morning, the morning pages, we call it the morning pages. So you have to wake up without any agenda. 3 पेज लिख डालो, और जो आपकी प्रॉब्लम है या तो उसमें से कुछ आइडिया निकलेगा.
In the morning or in the night before you sleep?
The morning. सुबह उठते ही सबसे पहले अगर ये काम कर सकते हो आप, तो नहीं तो दिन में कभी भी करो. आई वुड से कि ठीक है, फर्क पड़ेगा. तो these are the things that I know help me, तो मैं eventually उन्हें करती रहती हूँ. But major learning always is around how to, you know, have good food, recovery, sleep कैसे impact करता है, knowledge gain करो. That's how I keep equipping myself.
So you keep on upgrading yourself through knowledge,
Yes,
certification.
yes,
Certification,
very
as you mentioned, it's just a
Yes.
name.
It's a name, but then
But you
finding
learn a lot of
something-
things from
yes,
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So coming back to nutrition, it's a dense topic in itself.
Yes.
Food is very important, right? Yesterday, my mom is diabetic. We went to a doctor. She's taking allopathic medicine.
Yeah.
But yesterday we went to Ayurvedic hospital. It's in Shalimar Bagh, Delhi.
Yeah.
So the doctor, you know, if you go to any allopathic doctor, the first thing they recommend, they see is your pulse, BP, and they recommend you like a lot of allopathic medicines.
Yeah.
This doctor did something different. This doctor said, okay, what do you eat in the morning? What's your daily pattern like? Tell me each and every food that you eat. And then she analyzed, okay, your food is problem.
Yeah.
Your food is what is swelling your body.
I'm so
your
happy
hand is shaking.
that she
right?
actually did that.
Yeah, so that is what I think that is missing in today's doctor, and nutrition plays a very important part. And you know,
It's
our mom dad
everything.
generation, they don't listen to us.
Yes.
Yeah, even if we are yoga professionals and all, they think that we are we are nothing.
दाल बराबर.
Yeah, so that is the thing. So okay, question to you is like, how nutrition plays an important part, and how do you make sure your students are eating healthy? You are motivating in terms of nutrition and stuff like that. How do you do that?
See, I would say nutrition is very bio-individual. When I say that bio-individual, something that's recommended. So suppose if I say, you know, you should be taking whey protein, it's a general, you know, recommendation. But it may be true or applicable for only some people. So that's why I say it's bio-individual. So for nutrition, we give basic broad guidelines which is applicable for mostly everybody, like salt. Too much of salt is not good for your body. Too much of sugar is not good for your body. Too much of oil is not good for your body. So basic broad guidelines, you should be drinking water. So that is covered in our community. We keep reminding people, work upon these things, eating salads, including more fiber in our food. But otherwise, nutrition is very dense topic. Like I'm a yoga teacher. I train for calisthenics, gym, strength training, and I also train for yoga. So very active lifestyle I'm leading. So my requirement for nutrition will be very different from yours. Plus, depending upon my food choices, like I'm a pure vegetarian, don't even consume eggs. तो वो nutrition सबका बहुत different होता है, and I think यही होना चाहिए. We should not go to Google and just say कि अच्छा diet plan.
Everyone is different.
Do things. Yes.
So even I'm vegetarian. So in a vegetarian diet, okay, I think the major components are carbohydrates, proteins.
Yeah. Protein is very less for a vegetarian diet.
Yeah, and the third is fats, right? उसके बाद वो minerals and fibers ये सब आ जाते हैं. So in the vegetarian diet, what do you recommend for proteins mostly?
Okay, so the major source of protein in a vegetarian diet is can be coming from paneer, dairy products basically. But paneer has a lot of fat content as well. If you want a lesser fat version of it, you can have tofu or tempeh. Then you have your stuff like chickpeas and kidney beans like rajma chole, dal. Again, these things are majorly carbohydrates, but they do have some amount of
level of protein.
Some level of protein as well. Then we have your soya chunks. Soya chunks at times can be, it's a very debatable thing that should you consume soya chunks or not. They're not very fine nut like research paper they say that it's an anti-nutrient, but as of today I recommend and
there's no side effect, but I also
yes,
eat.
Soya chunks is very good source of protein. And then of course minimal things you can get from your milk, cheese. What else do we have for protein? So yeah, these many things that you can cover up, and then you can take whey protein. I also take whey protein supplements because
people have a lot of misconception about whey protein.
Yes, whey protein is good. You can find out different sort of proteins. I mean, suppose if you're lactose intolerant, go for isolate.
There's vegan protein also.
Yes,
chickpeas,
vegan protein,
plant-based protein.
So I consume protein because otherwise my diet will not be having that much of protein.
So is the diet different for elderly people compared to young person? Or is the same?
It should be. Like it's bio-individual. So depending upon their schedule, their lifestyle, if they're having any health issues, like you say your mother has diabetes. Diabetes is a lifestyle disorder. If you have your whole lifestyle in place, in control, be it in terms of nutrition, sleep, movement, exercise, I think you can control. A diabetic person can also live a very healthy life if their lifestyle is in order. So nutrition is very bio-individual. So an older person who's very active to a person who's very sedentary, depends.
Yeah. I feel like in Western culture, people are more active in after 60.
But is it the same in after 60, Jamin? Because
younger
is dealing with the obesity.
Yeah, I know. But after 60, I've seen like lot of like when I go for hiking and stuff, I see a lot of white people. They are very active. Compared to us, after 60 we are done.
Yeah. That's a cultural shift, the cultural difference.
I think it's all because of the food. Like our culture, like for example, most of the people who are after 50, they suffer diabetes, unfortunately, and the problem is the lifestyle, as you mentioned. Sorry, I would like to cut you.
I was having the discussion with my friend. He said that the average lifespan of human is increasing throughout the years, but then I say that I don't see people making beyond 60s or 65s these days in India, at least. So people
getting heart attacks at 40s.
Yes, and in the 40s, yes, exactly. So I don't know किस देश में lifespan बढ़ रहा है. Of course,
Japan में जो सबसे ज़्यादा है,
Japan and
उसका भी कम हो रहा है.
They are contributing, but then I don't think people, because the lifestyle is not that good, and even the food products that we're getting these days, God knows उनमें क्या है, pesticides कितना क्या है, कैसे बन रहा है, how it's impacting them. I lost
FDA
my
regulation, ये सब regulation.
I lost my chachu to brain cancer, not because if he was using, he was consuming any other products or something. We don't know brain cancer कैसे हुआ, and it was such a grade 4 brain cancer. We couldn't save him. तो मालूम ही नहीं कैसे क्या आया, क्या रेडिएशन गया.
कैंसर का तो कुछ पता ही नहीं चलता कैसे होता है.
Exactly.
स्किन कैंसर हो गया,
we don't know कि क्या इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है. साइंस जब बता पाएगी तब बता पाएगी, but then that's what. So I don't know कहाँ बढ़ रहा है लाइफस्पैन.
कहीं नहीं बढ़ रहा, उल्टा कम हो रहा है. And science is actually, people say science से बड़ा है हमारा लाइफस्टाइल. मेरे को ऐसा लगता है हम पीछे हो गए. क्योंकि जो पहले के लोग होते थे ना
Yeah.
जब साइंस नहीं थी
Yeah.
ठीक है 200 300 500 साल में वो
Yes.
ज़्यादा जीते थे
Yes.
और हमारे ऋषि मुनि ले लो वो तो पता नहीं क्या क्या लिखा हुआ था कि हज़ारों साल जीते हैं
Exactly. I completely agree with that.
क्योंकि द मोर यू आर इन टच विद द नेचर
Yes.
मम्मी जो है ना डायबिटिक है वो जब यूएस आती है ना बहुत बार आती है साल में एक बार तो जब भी मैं उनको बीचेस और ये सब ले आता हूँ मतलब नदियों पास या फिर कहीं जंगलों में बहुत खुश होती हैं जब नेचर से आप कनेक्ट होते हो ना तो आपको लगता है कि आप यही हो मतलब यहीं पे आपको रहना
यही
है
रहना
और जब यहाँ पे दिल्ली में आते हैं तब बहुत टेंशन बहुत स्ट्रेस वही होता है सदगुरु भी बोलते हैं स्टे योरसेल्फ इन द नेचर मतलब वो सब सीन होता है या so that is one thing regarding so we talked a lot about social media impact and stuff nutrition also plays a big impact regarding the trends in yoga what are some of the trends that you are seeing
I think yoga has been so much popularized in the last, I would say, in the last decade because it's brought to the Western culture. It was originated in yoga, but then आदत होती है ना Indians को काफी ज़्यादा कि जब तक वो चीज़ बाहर फेमस ना हो जाए हम लोग अपनी चीज़ की वैल्यू नहीं करते हैं.
वेस्टर्न में तो बहुत फेमस है
बहुत
बट वो बहुत ही गलत टाइप योगा सिखाते हैं.
I know. I don't. Even in India, it's you see this puppy yoga, kitten
इंडिया में
yoga.
पपी योगा आ गया ये यूएस का था.
Hot yoga तो US का है, Bikram
नहीं
yoga.
पपी योगा हो गया फिर एक्वा योगा हो गया.
Kitten yoga is happening. People are contacting me. Can you conduct a puppy yoga session? I was like, no, please, sorry.
बियर योगा भी होता है.
Beer yoga, butt yoga, naked yoga. What the hell is going on? It's like तो कुछ भी चीज़ के आगे योगा बना देते हैं. So I don't believe in that concept. But I'm also open to trying different styles of yoga. जो authentic styles है, and then create your own sequence. I'm all okay for that. So if we talk about the trends, I don't think yoga कहीं जा रहा है. Yoga is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So people who want to make their careers into yoga, of course, it's a good time. It's a very good time. I think अब बहुत competitive हो चुका है. I see.
Online तो बहुत है.
बहुत competitive हो चुका है. Even I see every month some of my students are going for their TTC. Of course, it's a good
Even
thing.
when I did TTC, a lot of people have started their batches.
Yes.
ऋषिकेश में तो पूरी मंडी है.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's very commercialized, I believe now, and to find someone who can actually lead you towards that path, ना, you should, you want to ask yourself also कि मैं योगा कर क्यों रहा हूँ, मुझे योगा किस लिए करना है, and then find a teacher to that way, because yoga, meaning of yoga is very, it's
different for everyone.
Different for anybody, and बहुत misconceptualized हो चुका है बहुत ज़्यादा. So that's what I feel. But trend है, ये कहीं नहीं जा रहा. It's gonna stay, and yeah.
And the thing you mentioned is like you do gym,
Yes.
strength training, you do yoga, calisthenics भी तो आपने बोला ये सब चीज़ें. And like what do you learn from these things and how you mix and match and how do you feel one interesting versus another like
okay.
all of that.
I'll come to that. So I love doing calisthenics. I started it recently, I think 6-7 months back. So it's basically body weight training. You do gym, right? You lift weights, you do strength train basically.
Yeah.
So calisthenics, it's a Greek word. Kalos plus sthenics, it means beauty of strength. It actually means beauty of strength. So आपकी खुद की body में कितना strength है, that's what calisthenics pushes you towards. So and when we do Ashtanga yoga, then you see, it's also a form of calisthenics only. In Ashtanga yoga, when you lift yourselves in a handstand, or you're doing certain vinyasas, जिसमें हाथों का बहुत ज़्यादा रोल है, strength बहुत ज़्यादा चाहिए. It's also calisthenics. You're using your own body strength. So calisthenics is about that. It helps me with my yoga practice. Plus, I find it so beautiful. Again, I like to challenge my body, and जितना मुझे मेरी बॉडी सरप्राइज करती है मैं उतना सरप्राइज होती हूँ कि कितना कुछ केपेबल हूँ मैं करने को. मुझे मालूम ही नहीं था मेरी बॉडी इतनी केपेबल है कि अच्छा मेरा वेट इस तरीके से भी उठा सकती है. सो calisthenics is like another level of awareness for me. It's a beautiful.
Have you started teaching that calisthenics?
No, I don't teach.
You're just learning.
Yeah, I'm learning. I love practicing calisthenics. Then strength training or gym training. I also like lifting weights because that also helps with my strength, muscle building. So I do that. Mix of calisthenics and strength training is what I do. Otherwise, I train for yoga. I am a coach for that because yoga helps me with many other things that calisthenics cannot or gym cannot help me with. Major one being flexibility, calming my mind, just calming my mind, and that's what my breathing, strengthening my breathing. I have a lot of issues with my respiratory system at times. My nose gets blocked very often, so pranayama practice is something I'm trying to develop very often, very regular. So yoga, all different cheezon ke liye, that's how I like to mix and match, like 5 sessions or 6 sessions in a week, planned with proper rest in between. Like suppose I did, before coming to the podcast, I had a push day. in calisthenics today. So tomorrow when I do my yoga practice, I will make sure I'm not using my upper body strength. I will do something related to maybe back
Lower
flexibility.
body. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I plan my sequence that way. That also it should be done smart way, not
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Yes.
So how many days do you do calisthenics? How many days you do gym, strength training in a week?
Calisthenics and gym is combined session. I try to do 4 days a week, and then my yoga class I like to do like 2 days a week.
Your self yoga where you learn.
Yes, because in my classes also I like to believe more or less teaching करते हुए flexibility bar, mobility bar is taken care of.
Yeah.
But those other 2 sessions are about pushing myself.
If somebody is not flexible, what do you recommend?
Practice करो.
Practice.
Don't be greedy. Accept करो कहाँ पर हो, पर accept में ये भी नहीं होना चाहिए acceptance पे that you don't have वो इच्छा नहीं कि और भी ऊपर जाना है. संतोष है, बहुत खुश हूँ मैं, पर इससे भी ऊपर जाना because मेरी body के लिए अच्छा है.
Right.
So it's not greedy for you to ask more for your body, है ना? It will be greedy for you if you want to do it for looking cool. Okay, I have achieved this asana.
Yeah.
Not because I know if I want to learn handstand today, it's a journey. It's been a journey that how aware you are. अगर मैं थोड़ा सा भी सांस अंदर रोकती हूँ, how does it impact when I'm holding the asana?
It's about mind-body
meditation for
connection.
me.
Yeah,
it's a mind-body connection that I love to form. तो मेरे लिए वो चीज़ journey वो है, not because I want to look cool doing an asana. So it comes with time.
Nice. And these days people are traveling a lot, right? So in the travel, fitness is always a problem.
Yes.
Because you have to go out and see things, eat crappy
Yes.
food or unhealthy food. So how do you make sure you are mindful when you travel? Mindful meaning like pay attention to eating as well as fitness.
See, honestly speaking, I struggle with that because that's why I don't travel so often. You were speaking about this, right? Because I'm a sucker for routines. I love my routine to be in a way okay, I'm waking up at 6 a.m. Then I'm at training. I take my protein shake. I'll have my proper protein meals or good balanced meals and proper sleep. When you travel, your sleep goes for haywire. Okay, you do not get enough sleep because you want to cover many things you want to see.
Everything goes haywire.
Yeah, everything goes haywire. The kind of food because आपको नया food भी try करना है जो वहाँ का native cuisine otherwise आप क्या कर रहे हो. And then you also want to stick to your goals. Then training आप इतना थक जाते हो because when you're traveling you are constantly walking on your foot. वो टाइम निकालना आपकी ट्रेनिंग के लिए भी it's a challenge. When you go to last year I went to Europe. My average steps for the day used to be like 40,000. उसके बाद ट्रेनिंग भी करना I used to do like मैंने 2 दिन किया था. तो what I've understood is you cannot be the 100% epitome of that. If someone is doing that to the 100% of the ability, even with or without traveling, I feel that's great. मैं अभी तक वहाँ नहीं पहुँची हूँ. What basics I like to follow is that if I know I'm going to be very active in my vacation, so I will skip my training or I will do it in a way that I'm only doing it once a week and suppose
but your training will be you will not be doing training because your trainings are in person, right? When
No,
your training as in the teaching.
Yeah, my teaching
Okay.
is online. Everything is online.
But your teaching is stopped when you travel, is it? Or you continue your teaching?
Depends upon the
Depends
kind of
upon,
vacation
okay.
I'm taking. Yes, if
Got
I'm
it.
going to say a Rishikesh and my plan is that I'm going to stay there for a few days, of course.
Then you can do it. But
manage my
international, the time zone and all.
Yeah, time zone matters. So that's what. So I will just see if it's going to be a very active kind of a vacation or very leisure kind of a vacation. If it's a leisure vacation, then I will go for my trainings. I make sure to carry my protein with me. So at least protein take care हो जाए. बाकी
take care
अगर
हो
थोड़ा सा crappy food हो भी रहा है तो try to take care of your sleep as well, not and stay away as much possible from alcohol and other substances. That's also I like
Sugar
to.
wala.
Yeah, that's what. So थोड़ा बहुत जितना आप कर पाओ, you try to do your best.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I do is like I carry my yoga mat with me.
Yeah.
And yoga mat में लेके चलता बट करता कुछ नहीं हूँ. तो वो दिमाग में रहता है चलो करेंगे. But क्या होता है कि you start your day at 7 a.m. 8 a.m. because you're in a new city. You have to maximize your time. You are limited time over there. And then I come back at 11 p.m. You're exhausted and same thing. My watch says 30,000, 35,000. I just came from Guatemala. वहाँ पे volcano है, active volcano. उसकी hike करी थी. So the thing is like for me how I implement this hiking.
Yeah.
जो हो जाता है ना उसमें calorie बंद हो जाती है. You don't do workout and all those.
That's fine.
That's
then,
fine.
Be okay with that if you're missing your training.
It's also fine. And the food and alcohol you have to be mindful
Yes.
about.
Yes.
Food इतना awesome है पूरे world में. They're all like vegetarian.
I'm sure.
Veganism जो
Yes.
फैला है ना, it's all very good food.
Yes.
And you have to be just careful about what you are eating. I just ask them कितना sugar है, कितना fried है.
Yeah.
और मतलब ये wheat flour जो refined होता है मैदा ये है नहीं है. That is the only
Follow
thing.
these 3 basics and I think you're good enough. Majorly. something that's very deep fried, cut out of the
हटाओ,
option. Very sugary food, and then if it's too much of maida, just maida, cut it out, and
मैं
then
पूछ
you
लेता
get
हूँ
good options.
या टोफू है, टोफू मैंने कहा सॉफ्ट कर दो बस,
Yes, yes, and
replace
then you
these
have
options.
toppings on many things, try to
Yeah.
have a healthier topping, that's what.
Right,
Yeah.
that is true. Yeah, I think this traveling and fitness can go together, but it's very hard.
Yes, very hard.
Yeah, that is true.
And then you can arrange your stays at place wherein you have gyms or some workout station
Exactly.
or yoga classes going on. So because these resorts, if you're staying at a good property, or if you have your location near place wherein you have
And these days
amenities.
everything is available,
Yes, yeah.
I've been to like lot of countries and yoga is everywhere. People love
Yes.
yoga and people like that they know where the yoga is coming from. They
Yes.
know India.
Yes.
And if you join yoga and you tell them that you
Yes.
are a yoga instructor, people
Yes.
like, wow, okay,
Yeah,
tell
they
us
see you
more.
with so much of awe and respect.
Yeah, that is. I was in a country called Peru in
Yeah.
South America. I was on a cruise going to Bolivia, and everyone has to say where they're from and what's their name. And when I'd never say I'm from US. Even if I live in US, I say I'm from India. When I say I speak a little bit Spanish also.
Yeah.
So donde eres? They ask me where are you from. I say.
I understand a bit of very basic
Yeah, yo
Spanish.
soy de India. I'm from India.
Tu eres mujer. Mujer is women.
Mujer.
Mujer.
Yeah, mujer is woman. Yeah.
Yes. Would hombre?
Hombre is men.
Men.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like bathroom में लिखा होता है hombre and mujeres.
Yeah.
तो मैंने बोला कि आई एम फ्रॉम इंडिया, सो दे ओह इंडिया, तो बाद में मेरे को पकड़ लिया,
Yeah.
मेरे स्पेनिश में बात कर ले भाई, मेरे को नहीं आती इतनी स्पेनिश, ट्रांसलेट रहा भाई. तो या इट्स अ गुड थिंग योगा, एंड बिकॉज साउथ अमेरिका में दैट इज अनदर थिंग, यू कैन एक्सपैंड योर बिजनेस, स्पेनिश सीख लो एंड मेक रील्स, एंड क्योंकि वहाँ पे है ही नहीं योगा साउथ अमेरिका में, एंड उनको इंग्लिश आती नहीं है, ना हिंदी आती है, उनको स्पेनिश आती है, तो दैट इज अनदर थिंग यू कैन डू.
I think that you should be doing that.
मैं क्या क्या करूँगा
Because you
यार.
love traveling and you're already like a little adept with
My goal is to have a hostel. Like there's a hostel called Selena. It's everywhere in the world. इसका मैंने बैंड पहन रखा है, ऐसे दिखता है Selena.
Nice, it's fun.
So the good thing about this hostel is like they give you a vibe of yoga. ये तो मेरे को मेक्सिको में था, उसमें बीच एक्सेस होता है और योगा भी होता है, अंदर बार भी होता है. मेरे को एक मेरा ड्रीम है, आई वांट टू मेक अ हॉस्टल लाइक दैट जिसमें ना योगा की फील आए, बुद्धा जी की फोटोज हो, ठीक है, और अंदर बार हो, बट बार में ना कोई अल्कोहल ड्रिंक ना मिले, ठीक है, वहाँ पे आयुर्वेदिक और ये सब ड्रिंक्स मिले,
nice.
और बीच क्लब हो जिसमें गाने भी मतलब ऐसे बजे जैसे होते हैं ना ईडीएम शिव जी के, वैसे
Yeah,
कुछ
yeah,
मिक्स कर
yeah,
दे
yeah,
हम,
yeah, yeah.
और पूरी योगा वाली फील आए, सुबह सुबह योगा प्रैक्टिस हो, फिर मेडिटेशन हो, पूरा दिन ऐसा चले. आई थिंक पीपल विल लाइक इट एंड इट्स
Yeah.
अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड एज अ होल. दैट इज माय गोल.
I wish you all the best for that, and I would love to be a part of your venture if in any ways I can help.
Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, we talked a lot about yoga and fitness and nutrition. Anything else you want to talk about which we haven't touched? Any other experiences you have in yoga or benefit that we haven't talked about?
I think the way I got into yoga, I think I've covered that, how it can be so impactful. I would just like to come back to it, and movement in itself. ठीक है, हम लोग योगा की बात कर रहे हैं, but in general, if you like anything, just stick to it. It helped me. I was a very underconfident person because of my weight as growing up child. I've been bullied. In a class full of students wherein a guy called me moti and all that, whatnot, and it impacts your
ये
confidence.
सबके साथ होता है.
It impacts your confidence, I would say. और ऐसा नहीं है कि आप नहीं चेंज कर सकते हो खुद को. So you can just take the matter in your hands, and it helped me. I joined an academy near my place. It helped me, and how it happened is because a friend of mine used to go there, and I saw her doing some asanas. It looked very cool to me. तो मुझे भी किसी ने inspire किया. So these are two things. A, try to work upon your health, and B, if you have good habits in yourself, try to inspire other people with it. Secondly, it helped me when I was going through a very down phase when I recently started with my job. I hated the corporate culture absolutely. And it felt like मैंने मेरी ज़िंदगी किसी को बेच दी है. I don't have the freedom to do anything. It was very soul sucking. I was depressed, and then I connected back to my practice. So it saved me from that.
मेरे को 2 बार निकाला गया है, और द रीजन इज लाइक हम अपना टाइम देते हैं और वो हमें पैसे देते हैं. दैट इज अ थिंग, एंड यू डिड अ गुड थिंग, यू स्टार्ट योर ओन थिंग. आई विश कि मैं भी अपना फुल टाइम ऐसे इतने पैसे आ जाए कि आई कैन लीव माई जॉब, बट इट्स काइंड ऑफ डिफिकल्ट, बट आई एम वर्किंग टुवर्ड्स इट.
And I took that plunge very early in my life also. So वो बहुत, I think,
Which is a good thing.
Thanks to my parents, because like I told you, I was a studious kid. I was a always like the topper of the class kind of a kid. तो मेरे पेरेंट्स की बड़ी अलग एक्सपेक्टेशन थी मुझसे कि लड़की क्या करेगी, बहुत बड़ी आगे पढ़ाई करेगी, एंड देन वन डे आई कम एंड से दैट आई वांट टू डू दिस एंड आई वांट टू लीव स्टडीइंग, मुझे नहीं करना है वो पाथ, मुझे रैट रेस नहीं फॉलो करनी है. सो इट वाज डिफिकल्ट फॉर अ लिटिल डिफिकल्ट फॉर माय पेरेंट्स डाइजेस्ट, एंड देन इट वाज लाइक कि चलो देखते हैं क्या जाता है. सो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी for my friends and families. My friends, they thought कि ऐसे ही कर रही है, हो जाएगा, it will pass away. But then it's been 3 years, and I always say this to my close ones that I am going to die a very fit old lady who still, is connected to yoga and is doing something about it.
I think that is a very good thing because a lot of people are changing their mindset. Indians, I mean, Westerns are different.
Yes.
People are more cautious and more mindful about like health now.
Yes.
Right? So I think age will increase.
And I've seen this shift happening in the last 3 years.
COVID में हुआ है.
Yes, and also that people start, like initially when I would tell people that I teach yoga, they would see it in a different light.
Yeah.
But now they see it with certain awe and respect.
कि भाई अच्छी बात है.
अच्छी बात है, बहुत अच्छी बात है. And I've seen this perception changing in front of my parents also. Now that my parents also like very happy that I'm in this profession, and they tell other people also very with a lot of proud.
Right.
But initially ऐसा नहीं था because I also had to do something of my own ताकि वो देख पाए कि नहीं अच्छा कर रही है. So that's what.
That is true. Any last advice you want to give to the audience?
Last advice will be, guys, life is about, staying happy. जो भी आप करो, and happiness will come from something if you stay connected true to yourself. जिस चीज़ में खुशी मिलती है, firstly, I believe we spend a lot of time working, तो I know it's difficult for me to say कि follow your passion and leave money and all. नहीं, काम ऐसा करो जिसमें आपको खुशी मिले. If you're not happy, I've seen a depression phase because I was very miserable in the job I was into. So one
काम होता है, रिलेशनशिप होती है,
हाँ बहुत दोनों खराब थी उस टाइम, तो डिप्रेशन फेज आ गया. तो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप खुद को प्रायोरिटाइज करो, अपनी खुशी को प्रायोरिटाइज करो, और वो खुशी आपको लॉन्ग टर्म भी तब मिलेगी जब आपकी हेल्थ अच्छी है. इफ योर हेल्थ इज गुड, सो टेक केयर ऑफ योर हेल्थ फिजिकली विद द काइंड ऑफ फूड यू आर ईटिंग, mentally. Surround yourselves with good friends and good people who inspire who motivate you, and when you work, try to get yourselves into a profession or a career जिससे आपको खुशी मिले, something that makes you happy.
Right.
That's the mantra I feel to living a good life and happy life.
Cool. Thank you so much, Muskaan.
Yes.
We talked a lot. I think yoga is a topic which keeps on going and going.
Yeah.
It's never ending. I have tons of questions more, but I think we talked for almost 1 hour.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have another podcast some other day. But thank you so
Yes.
much to be in my show. I learned a lot. I hope.
I hope that the next time when we do the podcast, ever maybe next year or something, it's grown so much. It's grown so big. Mindfulness, Manish.
Thank you so
I
much.
give you all my blessings.
Thank you so much.
And
there's something
thanks
which
for having me.
there's something which is like inbuilt in me. I was thinking about to start this for a long time, but this thing, I think God has given me this time. Okay, start कर. तेरे पास बहुत time है, अब कुछ कर.
अब कुछ कर. And I'm happy that you're doing it very actively. You kept pursuing me, ये नहीं करना है. And you've posted podcast with so many videos, so many people.
Consistent is a key.
Consistency, I see you being
लोग चलते हैं और फिर रुक जाते हैं. मेरा क्या है कि मैंने 3 महीने रिकॉर्ड में डाला कुछ नहीं.
Keep doing that. I would say, and things will take you places.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you and have a nice day.
Yes.
Yeah.